It's boom time for the cosmetic industry. In an age of social media and selfies, more of us than ever are turning to anti-wrinkle injections and lip fillers. But trying to change how we look can be a risky business. Tonight, Wales This Week gets under the skin of non-surgical cosmetic treatments.
If you were to block that blood vessel with filler, that can unfortunately lead to blindness.
I'll be meeting women whose beauty treatments have backfired.
It's not something you can hide. I can't cover it up with makeup. It's a natural disfigurement. It's a lump.
I still, to this day, don't even know what is injected inside of me.
In a sector that's largely unregulated, I'll be hearing from experts who want the law changed here in Wales.
It's not like buying and selling a mobile phone that if it breaks or goes wrong, you can take it back.
And I'll be lifting the lid on products you may not want anywhere near your face.
If, that potentially was injected into somebody, if it did break down, it could be life-threatening.
In our quest to look young and beautiful, are too many of us taking a stab in the dark? Beauty is big business. In the UK, non-surgical cosmetic treatments are worth nearly £3 billion. The most popular procedures involve injections into the face. Botulinum toxin, known most commonly by the brand name Botox, relaxes the muscles to reduce wrinkles. Dermal fillers plump up and fill out the face. Carla Howells from Cwmbran has both treatments regularly. At 22, she's one of a growing number of young people who are choosing facial injections.
When you leave school and you're very body conscious, you're conscious of yourself, and you're seeing all these, women on social media and celebrities, and they all look perfect. And you think, my gosh, I've got to sort of live up to something like that. All these women are looking stunning. How are they doing it? And so definitely is a huge influence. It's massive for your confidence, to make you feel nicer, make you feel better when you're putting your makeup on and when you're taking your selfies and all this. It makes you feel a lot better. You want your skin to look flawless, even when you're young, and you want it to stay as it gets older. So by having it done younger, you're preventing it, and hopefully it stays that way as you get older. Hopefully.
These 5 dots are where you would inject some botulinum toxin, very small amounts, very precisely.
But retaining that youthful appearance comes with a health warning. Dr. Nimish Shah is a GP who also performs Botox and dermal filler procedures. He believes the treatments can cause very real harm if they're not carried out correctly. First off, Botox.
It is a toxin, it is very, very powerful, and we use very, very small doses in very, very precise areas. If we inject it in the wrong place, so if you were to inject a little bit lower by the eyebrow, and that toxin would then migrate into the eyelid muscles, then that could stop the eyelid from moving. So unfortunately for 3 months you wouldn't be able to open your eye fully.
And when dermal fillers go wrong, the damage to your sight can be even worse.
Now, unfortunately, these blood vessels do feed back into the eye. If you were to block that blood vessel with filler, that can unfortunately lead to some permanent damage to the eye, and it can cause blindness.
There's a potential to lose your sight from a filler?
It can do if it's put in the wrong place, and that's probably the most serious side effects of dermal fillers. So if you see signs of pain and whiteness, you've got about 30 to 60 minutes to try and save someone's sight.
You would pick up on that straight away and be able to do something about it?
Yes, you should be able to.
But someone who didn't know what they were doing so well wouldn't?
No, I don't think they would, and I think that's so important to go to a reputable, qualified injector.
Finding those reputable injectors is the aim of Save Face, a government-approved register of practitioners. It's seen a marked rise in the number of consumers getting in touch with horror stories about facial treatments, especially lip fillers.
We get contacted about 5 times a week from people who have had, various adverse reactions, mostly from dermal fillers, and they range from, lumps under the skin where the filler's been injected into the wrong area, or necrosis, the flesh begins to eat itself, right through from, severe swelling. I mean, we had one young lady whose lips swelled up so badly they were touching the tip of her nose. So really quite serious, life-affecting complications. These people are affected not just physically, but often, their self-esteem is shot to pieces because they feel worse about themselves than before they had the treatment done.
And that rings true with Annie Cartwright. She's an advanced nurse practitioner who's been in the business for 15 years. As well as treating her own clients in Cardiff, she also examines the results of facial work performed by other practitioners.
When it comes to injectable treatments, it is a bit like the Wild West, and it is becoming more of an issue. I know from my network of professional colleagues that all of us are seeing more problems, particularly with lip fillers.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Camille. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Today, Annie's agreed to see a customer who had her lips done by another practitioner with unexpected consequences. Camille's procedure gave her the fuller lips she'd always wanted. But months later, her face looked like this.
OK, so as I have a feel of this, you've clearly got quite a firm and marked lump on your left side, and the fullness extends well beyond the lip border itself, and is starting to come up towards your nose, really quite a considerable distance. And then this side, similarly, you've got another really strange sort of lump which runs diagonally now. So all I can do is assume that this is product which is way outside the lip and where it should be placed.
If I was to stretch my lips, like so, and you can see sort of everything.
After her assessment, Camille told me more about the procedure and the practitioner who performed it.
A few months after I'd had it done, a small lump just above this side appeared, started to show itself. And when I started to look at my lips and really analyse them, I wasn't happy with them in any way, shape or form, at which point I actually did contact her. And she basically said she was offended that I would even come to her and bring this to her after this amount of time, because it was 4 months ago that I got it done. So after sort of saying that, can you look at me, and can you fix it? And if you can't fix it, can you recommend somebody else that can fix it? Or can I have my money back so I can pay for somebody else to fix it? She basically said, no, I'm not going to help you, and no, I don't know anyone else that will help you. And that was that.
It was only when Camille threatened legal action that the practitioner offered to try to fix the problem. But by then, Camille felt too nervous to allow her anywhere near her face again. When we asked the practitioner to explain her actions, she refused to speak to us.
And are you quite fearful now of having any other kind of treatments done?
It has certainly been an eye-opener into making sure that I do 100% research, that I know exactly what I'm getting myself into, because feeling that you can't be helped is not a nice feeling at all, and no one should have to go through that.
These days, most of us are on social media, and cosmetic injections are heavily advertised online. Because Botox is a prescription-only medicine, it's illegal to advertise it directly to the public. But that doesn't stop everyone.
We discovered Welsh practitioners openly promoting Botox on their social media channels.
They describe it as giving you a fresh, youthful glow. Some even promote Botox parties, where commission can be earned. When it came to dermal fillers, the sales techniques were even slicker.
We found time-limited deals, competitions to win free lip fillers and buy one get one free on dermal treatments. We even discovered one advert which offered customers the chance to use up the dermal filler product left in a syringe. Now that syringe would already have been used on someone else.
All promotions on social media are overseen by the UK's advertising regulator. Its chief executive told me that beauty treatments are one area where there's real cause for concern.
You mustn't trivialise the experience of getting a cosmetic intervention like a dermal filler. It's quite a big decision. You've got to think carefully about it. You mustn't give people the hurry up. You can see why a clinician might want to encourage people through their Facebook site to share a promotion for a dermal filler. But you've got to be really, really careful with that, because what happens if it's shared with people who are under 18? And the whole idea of running promotions for cosmetic procedures needs to be thought about very carefully.
After the break, is the Welsh Government putting consumers at risk by not regulating dermal fillers when it had the chance? And would you have this injected into your face?
You know, it's anybody's guess as to actually what is in this.
The beauty business is booming. In the UK, non-surgical cosmetic treatments like dermal fillers and Botox are worth nearly £3 billion. It's a growing market, driven by the Facebook generation. One reality TV star who's gone public about her procedures is Letitia Grace. The former Big Brother contestant from Port Talbot has had a range of treatments, including lip fillers. But they haven't all gone according to plan.
I was 20 years old. I went out to Miami, and before I went, I thought I had an all right figure. I thought I had a nice big bum. And I remember being on the beach one day and just seeing like all these girls walking past with these crazy bodies and these massive bums. And I was like, whoa, like, what's going on? How have all these girls got these figures? And my friend was like, girl, you need this girl's number. She does butt injections. I was like, butt injections? So I took the number, obviously. So I was just stupid, I was just naive. I called the woman, she couldn't speak English. So I had to Google Translate and text her, come over to my apartment, come and give me some butt injections. And she comes over and she's meant to be a doctor. She looked nothing like a doctor. She just had like loads of kitchen roll. And I was like, why the kitchen roll? And she was like, that's for when you're like leaking. I was like, okay. And the needle, it was like a pen. It wasn't like an ordinary needle. And I remember she had a bottle like this full of like this liquid, and that's what she was injecting in me. And as she was injecting, I could just feel the pressure. I could just feel my bum rising, and it was like as if my skin was being like torn. Like it was like so painful. And she had to do that four times on each side. I still to this day don't even know what is injected inside of me. Probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
Although Letitia's American treatment backfired, dermal fillers in the States are strictly regulated. But despite the health risks, there's very little regulation in Wales to cover fillers. Practitioners aren't legally required to have any training or qualifications, and anyone can purchase the products.
In 2013, the UK government commissioned a review into cosmetic procedures. The result, this 67-page document, which pulls no punches. It described dermal fillers as a crisis waiting to happen. It said although they can cause lasting damage, they were covered by the same regulation as ballpoint pens and toothbrushes. So what did it recommend? Well, for starters, it said that all dermal fillers should be prescription only. Anyone carrying out non-surgical procedures should be fully trained and registered. And it said that the whole industry needed tighter regulation.
None of that happened. But this year, Wales did have the chance to introduce regulations of its own. In May, Assembly members voted to pass a new law aimed at improving and protecting our health. It includes new licensing laws on procedures like tattooing and body piercing. Councils gained greater power to ensure those procedures are carried out safely. Many health organisations had argued that dermal fillers should also form part of the Public Health Wales Bill. But when that bill was passed, fillers weren't included.
It's slightly disappointing and it's slightly worrying because it's always a problem having any procedure undertaken that breaches the skin. It's not like buying and selling a mobile phone that if it breaks or goes wrong, you can take it back. Once you've had your injection or dermal filler placed in, then that's it, and you are saddled with the consequences, good or bad, for a period of time. And I'm not sure that people are fully aware of the potential problems.
We asked the Welsh Government for an interview to explain why dermal fillers weren't included in the Public Health Wales Act. They declined. Instead, they gave us a statement. They said they felt it better to let councils embed the new licensing scheme for procedures like piercing and tattooing before introducing any new ones.
But they admit they are concerned about the risks of dermal fillers, and they may introduce regulation in the future. According to Save Face, a register of cosmetic professionals, some untrained practitioners are buying cheap, unlicensed products over the internet. A number of Chinese websites offer Botox and dermal fillers for sale at knockdown prices. But what are you really getting for your money?
On average, for from a genuine supplier or pharmacy, it would cost about £100, £150, and maybe upwards, depending on what product it was. And some of the examples we'll see range from about $7 to $10.
So if you're paying less than that, or a lot less than that, it's just not going to be the real thing.
Exactly. Generally speaking, if corners are being cut, then the person that ends up paying the price is generally the patient.
We decided to put that to the test. We spotted Botox being offered for sale. It's only available on prescription in the UK, but we didn't have any trouble ordering it online.
The only questions that were asked were how many units do I want to order, and will I be ordering any more in the future? So they didn't take my age, my professional background, any training that I've had. It's literally how much do you want, and this is the price.
We also ordered dermal filler, which cost less than a third of the usual retail price. We were told that both products would reach us in about a week's time. Someone else who's found it all too easy to buy injectables on the internet is Carl Dinnis from Cardiff. He uses a self-tanning drug called melanotan 2.
It makes me feel awesome about myself. I love having a tan because I like to make a sort of impact when I meet new people and things, and people always say to me, even people that I haven't seen for a while, like my friends, they always say to me, oh my gosh, look how brown you are.
In the UK, it's illegal to sell melanotan 2. The drug has been banned on safety grounds because of the risk of serious side effects. But it's not illegal to use it. Carl orders his supply from companies in China, sourced over the internet.
You literally don't know what's in there, and I take a chance every time I inject myself with one of those bottles. People tell me all the time, they always say, but you don't know what you're putting in your body, you don't know what it's doing to yourself. But I think I could just carry on doing it until I'm ready to stop. The more people tell me to do things, the less likely it is I'm going to. And when I'm good and ready, I will.
Meanwhile, the injectable products we purchased from China had finally arrived. We'd ordered 2 bottles of Botox, but this wasn't the fine powder you'd normally expect to see. This dose was huge.
This is a relatively small vial with that much powder in there. I mean, who that would be to treat. I mean, it would, if that potentially was injected into somebody, if it did break down, it could be life-threatening.
And what's more, this came in a box like this. Nothing on the outside to tell you anything about it. No instructions in the packet?
Absolutely nothing. Just these 2 vials wrapped in some bubble wrap. No dilution instructions, no dosage instructions, which even as a trained, licensed medical practitioner, you wouldn't know how to use this on somebody.
We had also ordered a licensed, well-known brand of dermal filler, but something wasn't adding up here either. It didn't look like the genuine product. So we asked Annie Cartwright, an aesthetic nurse who uses the brand on her clients, to examine it.
The batch numbers on the box should match up with the batch numbers on the products inside. And just at a glance, I can see that the lot number on the box ends in 226, and the lot number on the inside ends in 082. So this box and these products inside the box are not of the same serial number, they're not of the same batch. What we'll do is we'll open it up and have a look and see what's inside. So that peels off, and then, so that normally sticks in a genuine pack. You would find that the labels would actually have to be taken off. So that immediately does not look right to me. The typeface is not right. That immediately rings alarm bells for me. So what I've got here is I've got another syringe from a Juvederm product. All of the syringes across the whole range are absolutely consistent. So the same type of syringe. And when I've got these side by side now, there are some real differences here. So actually, the end of the plungers look different. You can feel the quality of this is different. This looks more like a toy. It's got grooves and edges to it, whereas this one is round. The worst case scenario is, well, it could be anything. It could be something permanent, like a silicone, and it could be not sterile. So you could potentially be introducing a serious infection into the body by injecting the product.
In an age of social media and celebrity culture, more of us than ever are turning to injectable procedures. They can boost our confidence, make us feel good about how we look. But they can also backfire, leaving us distressed and disillusioned. In a market that's largely unregulated, where treatments can be provided by anyone, anywhere, are too many of us taking cosmetic procedures at face value?